I just got done making a Thorn-inspired version of every weapon type. I asked for some suggestions in that video, and It's Time mentioned Thorn's brother, Lumina. Although this weapon doesn't have the popularity of Thorn, it is just as unique, and should make for some interesting custom weapons. Let's give it a shot. I decided to go ahead and make all 16 weapon types. I'd like to make 16 for pretty much every video, but just a warning, I can't promise all 16 are going to be winners. Just as an example, here's the trace rifle. I promise the rest of these are better. Most of them are more like this shotgun. This is one of the first weapons I made, and it basically served as a test run to see how well Lumina would really work. If I couldn't get this to look decent, I'd probably just move on to another video. But it looks pretty cool. The actual first weapon I made was this sidearm. I made this first because if this looked bad, there was absolutely no hope. Another simple weapon is the breach grenade launcher. It's basically just got different proportions than Lumina, and a front grip. Things got a lot more complicated though when I made this sniper. The real challenges here are 1. Making a long barrel, 2. Making a scope, and 3. Making a magazine. But, as you can see, I managed. And it isn't perfect, the scope is just a little off and the barrel could be better. One of the weirder weapons is this linear fusion rifle. I was able to achieve that arch shape I've talked about before more easily than I expected. The normal fusion rifle is pretty cool too. You can see I flipped the barrel upside down here to make it look a little more unique. The auto rifle here kinda just looks like the shotgun but with a magazine. The pulse rifle, however, is pretty unmistakable. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Moving on to the scout rifle, it suffers from that weird scope, but other than that, it's fine. This is the heavy grenade launcher. I've been loving how these have been turning out lately. There's a lot that goes into making them, but it's well worth it. One of the tougher parts is getting the cylinder to look good, but after I put it together, I was able to use it again on the machine gun. This time it's a drum magazine. Machine guns are another weapon type that always seem to turn out really good or really bad. This one clearly turned out pretty good. Here's the submachine gun. One thing that annoys me about making weapons out of hand cannons is the fact that the grip is almost always super blurred, so it really breaks these pieces apart visually. This was less of a problem on this rocket launcher though, just because of the scale of the weapon. And to finish things off, let's check out the bow and sword. The bow looks okay. It's kinda generic and doesn't really play into many of Lumina's design features. I'd like to put more time into bows in the future to make them look more unique and give them more character. And lastly, here's the sword. It looks pretty similar to the Thorn sword. I'd also like to mess around with the shape of the sword blades more often in the future. Right now the plan is basically just to use the barrel as is and maybe add some things here and there. Maybe I can do an entire video just on bows and swords. Either way, I appreciate you watching. I'd love some more recommendations. If you leave a recommendation and my next upload isn't what you suggested, I could very well still be working on or making my way around to you. I'll see you later. Thanks. Take care.